Hello to all my friends out there. I'm up here walking. I wanted to do this video outside, but it was just too cold. And so I came back to my car to do the video. And what this video is everything I could think of to avoid homelessness. I'm not sure when these rent moratoriums will end, but eventually all the rent will have to be paid in full. And so it's strongly possible that people could end up homeless. So I wanted to do this video. And what I did was I just brainstormed everything I could possibly think of. So if you're looking in the direction of losing your apartment or your house, I think the best thing the person themselves can do is brainstorm every single thing you can think of to do. Okay, these are the Banana Republic sunglasses, and I will sell these. I bought them very cheap at a thrift store, and I had them adjusted, and eventually I will sell them. And this is one of the necklaces. See this cute necklace? Yes, I bought this, and I sell these at the swap meet for $3. And I bought these with the idea of they would look so cute with the tube top, but you know I don't have the body for a tube top. Not anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to give you all the ideas that I could possibly think of. I could probably think of more, but what happens is when you just start thinking of all the stuff you can think of, stuff will pop into your mind. And so I heard when a thought pops into your mind that will work, that is God. So that's probably the one you want to go with. Okay, the first one I came up with is cargo van. If you can buy a used one or even lease a new one, you know, the kind with the doors in the back, because you're able to park those in residential areas and live in them as long as you're not obnoxious about it. One of the problems I can see out here is we have a lot of homeless, and wherever they are, the area starts getting very, very dirty with trash and debris. And that is not going to help one's cause. But if you have a nice, neat cargo van, you're going to be able, it's got enough space in there so you can live a cargo van. Storage unit. Okay, you're not supposed to live in storage units, but there are storage units that it would be possible to live in. So you have to look around and find one of these storage units that it would be possible to live in short term until you can get back on your feet. The best thing is if you put your stuff somehow in the storage unit, and then you know you can figure out a way to live in there. Okay, commercial unit. Like an example would be out here, a lot of people who own liquor stores, they live in the back. Or beauty shops, they look like junkyards, but there is like these would be perfect because they can't be open. And there should be lots of commercial units that I was working when I was young in a beauty shop, and a guy had a construction unit, a construction business, and he was living in there at night. So there are commercial units that are cheaper than houses that you can live in if you are not obnoxious, going back to the street people who were dirty just for sleeping so that you don't end up on the street. UHaul. I have seen people living in UHaul. That could work for a while. Another thing about a U-Haul is you could move your U-Haul from a cold area to a warmer area. Get yourself to a warmer area and live in the U-Haul. Okay, garage. If you have a garage that you're willing to rent, and say if you had 3 bedrooms in your house and you had you rented 2 and you rented your garage and you did a fifth wheel hookup, you might be the one still standing when this whole thing is done. You might be able to keep your house that way. Or if you know someone and you say, listen, I know a guy, and he said, I can't live in an apartment because I have a dog. But the dog, he and the dog was able to live in these people's garage, And, you know, he paid decent money for living in the garage, extra rooms, you know, anything, but garages sometimes, especially like if you had kids or something, you know, and then if you figure out a way where it's a garage, but it's better than homeless. Friend's couch. My friend's husband moved to Hawaii with the idea of staying on the beach every day, and he bought like a cheap $500 car, and he found a job, and he parked in back of the job in his car. But a lot of times he was actually sleeping on friends' couches until he would just get fed up. Then, you know, he'd go back to the car. And he was able to live like that for 1.5 years until he could get by. And so, until he wanted to come back to civilization. But when I was at the food bank over here, not the food bank, the food pantry in La Mesa. If you live in La Mesa, California, do not sit around starving. Call 211. And I went there, and there was this young girl who had moved from Washington, and she was sleeping on the friend's couch who wasn't doing too well either. And she got food at the food pantry for the whole family. So, you know, even if you don't have money, if you can contribute, like go to the pantries and the food banks and pile your friend's house up with food. You know, the guy I told you about who was, he was really starving, and he lived inside of this guy's door, actually sleeping on the floor, just inside of the door, you know. And I talked to him, and his friend wasn't well off at all either. But I noticed with him, he wouldn't do anything to help the guy himself. He wouldn't help himself, and he wouldn't help. So, sleeping on a friend's couch or spare bedroom would be okay. Cab over. One time there was this woman begging at this church for money because she didn't want to keep her kids in a homeless shelter, which I didn't blame her, actually. That would be a nightmare. And she had a little Ranger truck. And later I thought, wow, you know, if you had a cab over for your truck, you could get by. And so even if you have a truck with no cab over, if you contact churches, do you have anyone who might let me use their cab over, or even a friend for a while? Another thing that is like cash money is the cab overs for trucks, and they have little build-ins like stoves and stuff. My ex-husband used to have those. So a cab over. Okay, I have one now you guys will really hate, but it's better than being homeless. Tijuana or Tecate, Mexico. I heard a lot of people were moving to Mexico City. I think that'd be awful, but it's better than homeless. Mexico and Tecate is cheap. Okay, rent a room. So, you know, you're just going to start looking for long before you end up homeless, start looking for a room to rent. Or long before you lose your house, start renting the rooms out. The thing is with these rent moratoriums, I'm not sure you can kick them out if they don't pay the rent. That's scary, because then they're using more utilities and stuff, so it depends on the person. But if you can rent a room. Okay, now casinos, certain casinos will let you park there for a month very cheap, or out here you can park free. I'm parked right now in Walmart. I could be living in my car right now or sleeping in the back seat. And another thing, don't forget this. If you have to live in your car, keep your car full of junk and move the passenger seat all the way up and put one of those plastic boxes on the floor. That's going to extend your leg room. And then I have a sleeping bag, and, you know, just have a sleeping bag. So casino, Walmart. Okay, in back of your job, live in your vehicle in back of your job. A lot of jobs will permit that. I had beauty shops and worked in beauty shops with back rooms, so, if you could get some kind of a back room type situation, that would be good. Okay. Then there is vacant houses. A lot of people might let someone stay in a vacant house to keep an eye on the house. I don't really care for this idea myself. My son's friend ended up dead when he was taking care of a vacant house, but I'm still not over it. The thing about the vacant house thing is you got to trust the people who own the vacant house. Okay, there's house setting, like if you watch the house for somebody. Then there's patient care. Like if you do patient care on the elderly, a lot of times you can get free room and board. And then provide labor for lodging. So you would do work and you would get food and like a ranch hand. Also, ask people, try to find RV hookups, people that will let you do the RV on the side of the house. And small farms and ranches. Okay. And then there's share a house or an apartment. So what you can do is you can do a search and find these areas that are really cheap, like small towns, and try to share a house. And that really helps them, and it's cheap there. There are places in this country with space rents of $400 a month. Well, in the back county of San Diego, there's cheap rents, RV parks and stuff. You have to have a vehicle though to get back and forth. Okay, so if you can't afford your house, you've got to find a cheap place. Just search around city by city in the vicinity where you live. Okay, another thing is, one time my friend got a master's degree and was trying to get a job as an English teacher, and all she could find was part-time here. But if she went to El Centro, she could get a full-time job. And then at that time, it was easy to find a room, and she could have stayed there all week and then just come home on the weekend. She didn't want to, but there are places like, Tecate, El Centro here, and places around like that you might not necessarily love it, but it's better than homeless. When all these people start ending up homeless, it's going to be harder to find stuff. Okay, so another thing you can do is call the churches and ask them, do you have a nice family who might be willing to rent me a room, a garage, a hookup? And there might be a family who's kind of desperate and might do it. Also, is like they're saying what's going to happen is people are not taking this into consideration. A lot of people are going to lose mobile homes. So if you and a friend could get a mobile home and share, that is, I think what's going to happen is the people are going to abandon the mobile homes, and then the owners are going to rent them. So when these come for rent, if 2 of you or 3 of you can share, that's really going to help. Okay, and then I have one more, and this is the biggie. Figure out how to apply for Section 8 now. Now, you don't have to have a job, and you can be like a single man or a single woman and find out how to get Section 8 now before all these people are evicted. I think it's coming. I hope not. I want to be an optimist and say, no, that would never happen. So, and apply everywhere you can. I'm not sure how that works. I think there's things like that for seniors. So you would go to HUD and places like that, and the Section 8, you do a search, just go under Safari Section 8 and just start applying everywhere. Some places is a lot easier to get Section 8 than others. San Diego is a nightmare. Forget that. I mean, it could be done. You can find, I think there's plenty of Section 8 to rent, but you got to get the Section 8, and there's long waiting lists. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.